Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're looking for a quilt that comes together really quick, come along and let me show you how I put this together. You start out by cutting 5-inch squares. You want to take your colored fabric and a white square and put them together and sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around the entire block. And then just repeat the process with all of your squares. The amount of squares you will need will depend on how big you make it. Once you get that done, you're going to want to cut these in half both directions. If you're enjoying this video, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe. And once you get that done, it is time to take it to the ironing board and iron each one of them open. And you will want to iron to the dark side like this. Push it towards the dark side. That way you can't see the seam on the other side. And then once you get this done, you're going to want to take each piece and cut off each extra little piece of fabric on each end. Depending on how many of these you need, I wanted to show you my little system. I would do it just like this. I'd go around all 4 sides, start the next one, and then on the very first turn, like that, I cut that off and then make a pile of them right there to the left. This is another way you can do it too. I just wanted to show you could draw a line on both sides if it would make it easier, but I find just using a ruler works so good as well. I thought about deleting this portion, but I think I'll just take you along and show you. And then once you get all your squares put together, it's time to put your block together. This is kind of the fun part for me. I have to lay it out to make sure I don't get it wrong. It looks like an envelope. That's how I sewed them together. I start out by sewing the two sides together and the other two and then the four together. I just bring the pile over with me and that way I can lay it out as I go to make sure I have it the right way. And here I just want to show how you nest up the two pieces. Just want to make sure you get those right next to each other and it'll turn out perfect every time. And then once you get them sewn together, you want to give them a good press. And then once each block has been ironed, you're going to want to just trim it. I like to just check the edges. And each one of my blocks are coming out at 6 by 6 inches. And then I continued on making several more. I enjoy all parts of quilting, but this is the fun part when you literally watch it come together on the design wall. Here I am trying to decide if I want to put fabric in between, like a sashing in between each block, or do I want them to just go right next to each other. So just trying to figure that out. I really like how this has turned out. And just like that, I have decided I do not like the sashing in there, and I want to put them right next to each other because then they make a little square in the middle when put together, and I really like the look of that. So now I start the process of sewing each block together. And just like before, you want to nest those seams up just like this. Make sure they're right next to each other, and if you do that, they will come out perfect. And then once you get them all put together, you're going to want to iron them. I did miss this just a little bit with water just to make sure I got a really good press, but you want to be careful not to stretch the material because it will stretch when it's wet. And then it was time to start sewing each row together. You can make this as big as you want, just keep adding blocks to whatever size you would want. And then I just wanted to iron it really good before I started quilting it. I decided I wanted to put a 2-inch border all the way around the quilt. This is the batting that I use on all my quilts, and I buy it from Amazon. I will leave a link down below if you're interested in this. I like the look of the border going around this quilt. That just added a little something extra. I am just about to run out of this, but I did end up using a little bit of this spray to hold the quilt down. It works so good, and you don't have to pin it. I could also leave a link to this down below. This was such a fun quilt to make. I hope you'll give it a try, and at the end of this video I'll put up a couple of my other videos if you'd like to click on them. Thank you so much for watching.